Howdy. Today we'll be presenting magnetic iron oxide nanoparticles for imaging, targeting, and treatment of primary metastatic tumors of the brain by Alexander Webster, Alex Pesic, Alvin, and Kyeongseo, Choi. So the type of nanoparticles used in the article are made out of magnetite and megamite, which are magnetic iron oxide nanoparticles that are in the form of a crystalline solid and are magnetic. Their structure is the inverse spinal structure, which is essentially MgL2O4, but its structure is inverse, so its divalent ions swap with half of the trivalent ions, and so it has the inverse arrangement. Magnetite basically has the inverse arrangement of MgL2O4, containing both iron 2 plus and iron 3 plus cations in its inverse spinal structure. The shape of magnetite can be seen as an array of tetrahedrons and octahedrons arranged in a lattice. The shape of megamite is similar to magnemite, but it is missing some cations. So in this image on the left, so where the A is, under the A is a whole bunch of processes that can be used to create magnemite, such as laser pyrolysis, thermal decomposition, microemulsions, or co-precipitation. And the process over here just shows how magnemite can be created, which is just through the oxidation of magnetite. And all these two are iron oxide nanoparticles, and some of the ways they are used is shown here at the bottom of this green circle. It's surface coat. They can be used in surface coating, surface doping, surface charge, and surface functionalization. So, and to the right of the representation is the so under B is the image under an electron microscope. This is basically showing the iron oxide nanoparticles, and to the right of this is the selected area electron diffraction, which is SAED pattern of an iron oxide. An SAED pattern is created through interactions between an electron beam and sample atoms and is used to find crystal structure, orientation, and more. The very bottom image is a visualization of how targeting imaging therapy works.
In recent years, magnetic and iron oxide, megamite, nanoparticles have been used for many types of cancer treatment, including magnetic resonance imaging, MRIs, magnetic targeting, gene and drug delivery, magnetic hyperthermia for tumor treatment, and manipulation of the immune system by macrophage polarization. However, recently, there's been a focus on using magnetic particle imaging, MPI, as it is more sensitive than MRI and can find tumors more easily. These particles are not only used for treating cancer, but they are also used to locate and identify the types of cancerous cells. The nanoparticles in an MRI and MPI are used as a contrast for doctors to see where foreign objects or tumorous cells are in the body. Cancer treatment is very important to society and researchers because in 2021, there were an estimated 1.9 million new cancer cases diagnosed and 608,570 cancer deaths in the United States alone. The application of these megamite nanoparticles are very important to the treatment of the cancer and MRI by using the nanoparticles to target and seek out tumors by having them look for something foreign. This contrast helps locate and identify tumors and cancerous cells. Macrophage polarization targets the white blood cells using macrophages. These macrophages also help to limit and destroy tumors by activating the immune system around certain foreign objects like tumors and gets the body to shut them down.
Okay, so what exactly the nanoparticles do? So they change their properties, but it's not for every properties. So there are major 9 properties that can be changed that contains surface functionality, size distribution, particle shape, particle size, agglomeration state, surface and crystallinity, composition, porosity, and surface area. And they are basically divided into sections, which is physical properties and chemical properties. So in this research, they changed the mechanical properties by methods that including coating, doping, and functionalization of the surface of encapsulation or altering the surface charge. and that became the biomedical use. And for the second one, they changed the hyperthermia properties. An example of an FDA-approved formulation containing IO, that is ferromoxytol, and that was coated with a low molecular weight, semi-synthetic carbohydrate possessed potential imaging and hyperthermia properties. So they used it to change microphage polarization, and that resulted that the treatment of anemia iron deprivation, the core for nanocomposites in some drug development research studies. And for the third one, they changed the infiltration properties. So the MSCs can display homing and infiltration properties towards tumor cells, and they are considered to be a promising cellular targeting vector for brain tumor therapies. So researchers investigated that the placenta-derived MSCs are a superior cellular vector for systemic targeting of GBM stem-like cells. So they found out that infiltration properties are activated on specific cells, not for every cell. So they resulted that they demonstrated that MRI tracking of PEG-coded super paramagnetic IO-labeled placenta-derived MSC is mimicking GBM stem-like cells in a mouse model. And for the fourth one, they changed the crystalline properties. The researcher found out the fact that nanoparticles can influence serum half-life and brain penetration. So they used crystalline properties to change the surface coating and surface functionalization. And they resulted that it developed, and now it's able to avoid activation of the complement system and RES clearance and have ability to cross the BBB. And for the final, they also mentioned about the future plan to change other properties. So for future medication, they mentioned that it is anticipated that additional magnetic IONP formulations will be developed and used in the near future, especially for organs that are not especially accessible, such as the brain and the other internal organs, such as the lungs and liver. So right now it's unsolvable, but they say they will change some properties more, and they will result IOMP stands for iron oxide nanoparticles, and they will change that, and they will use it as controlling properties method.
The blood-brain barrier, also known as the BBB, is a barrier within the brain that allows only certain substances to pass into the brain. The BBB can sometimes prevent certain types of cancer treatments from reaching brain tumors. There's a picture of the blood-brain barrier to the right. There are certain methods to overcome the BBB, but none of the methods are successful in treating malignant gliomas. Malignant gliomas are hostile and fatal brain tumors commonly found in adults. There is no consistent current treatment for malignant gliomas in the technology of today, which is radiotherapy, chemotherapy, or surgery. The advantages of using nanoparticles today. Iron oxide nanoparticles, also known as IONPs, have already been used to pass through the tight junctions between the BBB. IONPs can be controlled through the body using outside magnetic fields, which allow for better control in targeting specific parts of the brain. There are multiple types of targeting, active and passive, which enable non-invasive opportunities for cancer treatment. There are pictures of the IONPs to the right. How do nanoparticles improve our technology? The use of nanoparticles allow for the non-invasive treatment of cancerous cells and tumors. This is a significantly safer option of treatment when compared to brain surgery or chemotherapy. When monitoring cancer activity, it is very cost-effective to use full-body MRI scans to non-invasively track the nanoparticles directly.
So here are references, and thanks and gig 'em.